Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mediapolis School Board Forum conducted by the Greater Burlington Partnerships Government Relations Committee. My name is Savannah Prescott, and I will be your moderator for this afternoon. Our timekeeper is Rachel Lindeen with the Greater Burlington Partnership. In the interest of time and fairness to the other candidates, I'm going to ask each candidate to observe the time signal and stop your response when the time is up. The forum will consist of rounds of questions to which each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond. A decision was made by the Government Relations Committee to have candidates answer the questions impromptu and at random. In other words, they will have not seen the questions in advance. Candidates are seated in alphabetical order: Peter Pfeiff, Mark Schmidgall, Dick Whittaker, and John Witte. Let's start by having you introduce yourself and share why you're running for the seat on the school board. Peter, we'll start with you.
Yeah, my name is Peter Pfeiff. I have 6 children in the school district. I've lived here in the district for 18 years. Recently we moved into town, and we just kind of, a lot of children ended up in my house. And just being seeing all these children has kind of inspired me to be more involved in their lives. And then I just am kind of concerned that our school stays a tight school that we've always had, and that our district stays tight and a good school. And I'd like to continue on with that. And I live with like I said, I've lived here for 18 years in the district, and with my wife. And I think Minneapolis is a great school, and that's why I'm running for the school board, to be part of that.
All right, Mark?
Yeah, after praying about it, my wife and I felt moved to go ahead and when we saw there were 3 slots open, to go ahead and decide to run here. And really, personally speaking, I've lived in Mediapolis here all my life, and in fact, I work in Mediapolis, worship in Mediapolis, and I do have. It's been a great education for me going through it, and I currently have 3 children in the Mediapolis school, elementary, middle school, and high school, and I do have a son that graduated a couple school years ago. And I feel that being here in Mediapolis, I have a good feel for, and I really appreciate the heart of the community here in Mediapolis. I'm very thankful for Mediapolis, and really, as well, with kids having been in school, it's given me really good opportunities to volunteer and engage with teachers and educators for a number of years. And I would really like to represent the voice and the heart of parents in local policy discussions and decisions affecting our school district.
Time.
And I really, yeah.
Okay.
My name is Dick Whittaker. I have not graduated from here, but I have had 3 of my children adult children graduate from Minneapolis High School. Currently have 4 grandchildren still at the high school level, and 3 that graduated. I feel strongly about children and the importance of educating children, teaching them what we believe they're going to need to know for their future. And I made the comment that there's a quote: "We send children to a time we will not see." And I don't think there is a better time to show that than the time we're in now. Change happens, and it happens quickly. That's why I'd like to represent the community and students.
Thank you. John?
Thanks, Savannah. I'm John Witte. My wife of 32 years is Stephanie Witte. We have 4 children. They all came through the school system. I'm originally from the Mediapolis area, went to schools Barry, and then later at Mediapolis. Been connected with the community my entire adult life. I've worked at Hawkeye Petter Shop, known as Affinitas now, basically my entire adult life, and look forward to being available to the community if they'd have me for a 3rd term on the school board.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move to our questions at random. You will have 90 seconds to respond. There will be 2 candidates per question in random order. The first question: if elected, what unique skill set or experience will you bring, and how will you leverage that experience for the betterment of the Mediapolis School District? Peter, we'll start with you.
So if I'm elected, I've been on several committees throughout churches that I've gone to and also here locally. I enjoy being a team member. I enjoy being part of the team. I enjoy having discussion and solving problems through discussion. I enjoy listening to others and having what they have to say, and to be able to take that and kind of try to work it into a system that an agreed upon board can, or the board can agree upon. I really would like to, and I guess I sorry, I lost my thoughts there. But as a team member, I've been in charge of people before at work, and I've also been below people at work before also, and to respect who my boss is at the time, and then also to have them respect me. And it's really been a great way to learn and to be part of each other's lives, and to make things actually happen is the greatest way, is to have that team.
Thank you. Mark?
Sure. So I think maybe a skill to touch on here is I work here at Untitled in Mediapolis, and I do a lot of working with other people, a lot of teamwork, getting involved with projects with other people. In fact, right now we're implementing a new enterprise software system. I had to work with not only people in Mediapolis, but the people in India. So a lot of working with others, which has given me skills in trying to communicate with others, both in receiving information and then trying to transmit information. And I engage in a lot of written communication as well, often via email, so both written and verbal communication. And also, too, I've really tried to listen and to understand the different perspectives and viewpoints of the individuals that I engage with, which I really hope to bring to bear if I were to be on the school board, to actually just listen and understand the heart, the concerns of the parents, the community members, and then to be able to organize that in a fashion that we could all have a good discussion on, because I really do see the importance in multiple people coming together in a good discussion to come up with a good collective solution.
Thank you, Mark. The next question: what do you believe is the primary priority of public education? John, we'll start with you.
Thank you. What do I believe is the primary objective of public education? Done some reading on this, so this isn't my own original idea, but public education in the United States came about with this passion of having an educated citizenry that understood how society worked, how social contracts work, and their place in the world, and mixing everybody together and being able to be a country. So public education, I think, when we get into, there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of family, there's a lot of personal beliefs involved with that. And so when public education came about, I like that the roots of it are, at least certainly in Iowa still, are related to local culture, local school boards. And so the purpose ultimately of education is to prepare children for the workforce and to be good citizens, and I think that when I say good citizens, that has to do kind of like with the social contract, that we're all going to live here together, and what do we have in common, and educate folks on that, as well as skills to be effective workers and even in life.
Thank you, John. Dick, what do you believe is the primary priority of public education?
I think the primary priority is preparing our children for the future, as I said in the introduction. They face an uncertain one in our democracy in this country in many ways. I think we're at a very critical point in our democracy here in America. It's important for them to be able to know the truth, to analyze and problem solve and make good decisions for themselves, their families, and their local communities and their country. And very difficult today to know what truth is. But I think we can teach them to discern that. And I think at this point in history, that's probably the most important thing we can do for them, in addition to their basic skills that they're going to need.
Thank you. The next question. What are your areas of concern regarding student achievement in the Mediapolis district? Mark?
Well, I really don't have a lot of concern, really. I'm very thankful for the level of education here in Mediapolis, and maybe I am biased having been through it, but I know that they put a lot of time and effort in trying to bring in excellent teachers and educators, and I'm very thankful for your efforts in doing that. I know it's not easy, especially in the environment today. And so I really do believe also that the Mediapolis School District does have a genuine level of respect among Southeast Iowa, which I really appreciate as well. So really, mainly I'm, be on the positive side. Really, as far as for achievement, if there were to be any level of concern, not so much concern, but just something for further discussion. I know there's been kind of the big, it's pretty main, or at least in Mediapolis, we're starting to go into uncharted territory as far as we're moving to the standards-based grading system, which I know has been done by some other schools in the Southeast Iowa area. Just want to make sure that as that rolls out, that it's done in a very fair way that doesn't hinder good quality, standards or measurements of the students, and doesn't hinder any educational value at all. So really just wanting to consider that, I suppose. So.
Thank you, Mark. John?
All right, concerns for areas for students. They have your classic education when you think of reading, writing, arithmetic kind of thing. But I think that I find my mind thinking and listening closely to more things related to mental health. And I mention that because it's like, it feels to me like a new role that the public education system is playing. And if it's not new, it's at least changing quickly. There were maybe some assumptions that children would come to school with a certain amount of things already learned, or that life's experiences would have brought them to family life. And I think there is just a progression in our society that we need to be more aggressive in paying attention to these mental health types of things to make sure that the children are prepared, educated, learn how to cope, learn how to process and deal with problems besides traditional education.
Thank you, John. Question number 4. One of the most difficult decisions you might have to make as a school board member will be budgetary. In your opinion, what are the financial priorities facing the Mediapolis school system? Here?
Budgetary. I'm a firm believer in not going into debt. I don't know a lot about school budgets. If I were to get on, it would be my first time ever dealing with a school budget. But I'm in my house. I know everybody's a lot happier if we don't overspend what we make. There are certain things that I think should be at the forefront of a budget, and I believe that education should be at the forefront of a budget, especially when it comes to schools. And I think that there's, going about and trying to find monies for that, and then also making sure that you do have a long distance kind of budget plan, so you're not ever caught with something unexpected, and then you suddenly have to go into debt or do something like that. To try to always be ready for the worst, prepared for the worst, I think is a great way to budget your life. And you have to measure your needs versus your wants, and always try to fulfill your needs. They have to be fulfilled first. And wants are great. Everybody has wants, but they have to be secondary to those needs.
Thank you. Dick?
operating on a balanced budget in which it's almost everything's got to be paid when it comes to operating a school district, or you're not going to be operating a school district. And the amount that you have to budget depends on, of course, intake, which is true of all of us. That's determined based on our student enrollment. And it's very important to be a district that not only has enrollment from within, that people who have always lived here for generations. It's also important to attract people to the district, because the cost of operating a school continues to rise, and the amount of money we have to budget depends on how many students we have.
Thank you. Next question, number 5. Available skilled workforce is the number one issue facing employers in the state, including those in Southeast Iowa. What new policies can the Mediapolis School Board put into place, or what new or expanded programs would you support to ensure that there are guided career pathway opportunities for students? John?
Well, this was a question, or it was something that I highlighted in the comments that we've been able to give to newspapers recently. And yeah, this is a topic that needs attention. There is data out there that talks about how many students are going to seek a career in the education field. They want to become teachers or work at a daycare or administration of any of these kinds of facilities of education for children. And the data just looks terrible. And it got a little bit better, and it's kind of leveled off, and we sure need to find a way to take care of our community and attracting excellent workforce. So there are some tools that are available to the school. These things often take money, and so some of the first things we can do is have a growing district and a growing finance available to do those things. So it would be in areas of recruiting. And also, I hope that it's a big enough problem to the entire state that the legislature pays attention to it, and that ultimately this is a problem. It's not just for Minneapolis, it's for actually all of the country, but certainly for all of Iowa too. So I hope that there's some things that come about that attract workforce to the education field.
Thank you, John. Mark?
Yeah, I definitely agree with John that it's a very important consideration. Really, as you take a look at it, just being well-trained or well-positioned to go into more of some of the practical, hands-on, technical fields. And so I really believe that the Mediapolis School District is beginning to take a hard look at that, offering practical, hands-on applications or opportunities. For example, I know my daughter is in the ag class, is an FFA, and the school is actually paying $40 per student for them to work on an individual welding project. Hands-on skills with welding, and I know the industrial arts program has a plasma cutter, so I've seen efforts, and I'm thankful that the support you're giving the industrial arts program and kind of nailing in on those hands-on practical skills, because as we take a look at it, as a four-year university get more and more expensive, and as we see that a number of trades just getting harder to find people, the 2-year technical programs are a really good way to go, and I'm really thankful also for the dual enrollment with college opportunities that our school district offers. I know my son who graduated had a lot of credits with the dual enrollment agreement that Mediapolis has with SCC, and to continue that as well. So,
thank you, Mark. Question number 6. What issues do you believe the Mediapolis Schools needs to address in its academic programs and offerings? Dick?
Oh, there's so many, so it's a question.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Question, no, it's okay. Where to start? Major issues that I have a particular interest in and I think are very important are 2. One, we've recently developed a student services team that, along with teachers and paras, look for students who need individual attention, especially in the area of their social and emotional learning skills. Sometimes they come from homes where they don't have that type of education and experience. And if you have students with, and John has addressed part of this, with mental health issues, and it's going to make it difficult for them to learn. So we need to pay attention to that. And I guess I already included what my second one was, which is the social and emotional learning.
Thank you. Peter, what issues do you believe the Mediapolis schools needs to address in its academic programs and offerings?
I think this question is kind of similar to the one you had previously asked. I think, and I agree with everybody's, I think it seems like kind of across the board here, it's the vocational. I do believe that there is a increasing, I was a carpenter in the area for 16 years, and there is an increasing need for a skilled labor, HVAC guys and electricians and stuff like that, and they're just not, there's some out there, but I think that we could, I don't know if there was a way of going about this to work with local businesses and see if we could somehow work out something, and find money for it. I know it's always a difficult thing to do. There's never enough money ever to progress the vocational systems in our schools. And it's not even just for men. Nurses is a great vocation that we tend to kind of forget about for women, and other secretaries. Men for nurses also, but it's something that I think feels it gets left in the dark a lot. And like Mark had said, now as these four-year universities are getting very expensive, a lot of children and parents are looking towards a technical outlook for their children, because it's a quick way to make it really good, decent money. And so I'd like to maybe focus a little bit more on the vocational side of the teaching, I guess.
Thank you. Question number 7. What is a school board member's role and responsibility? How does it differ from the role of the superintendent or building principal? Mark?
Well, just some of the very first thoughts I have here as far as for what a specific role for school board member, I think it's very important for them to be able to hear and to listen to the concerns of the parents in the community. And then they would represent that voice and that heart then to top administration. And again, I know that there are some policies that can be made with both the school board members and top administration, but I'm sure that there's also decisions that top administration has to make apart from school board, school board formal voting. So really, I think, though, that I would imagine that the top administration would really appreciate knowing what the heartbeat of the parents and the community is as they balance that with what they're facing, whatever they need to do, of course, to keep the district in good order. And so I guess that would be my answer, where the school board members probably have a better opportunity to connect directly with parents and to bring that voice then to bear in discussions with top administration.
Thank you, Mark. John?
Ditto, Mark. That's a good answer. That was a good answer. The board,
yes.
The board, overly simplified, helps create policy and procedure of how the school district gets ran, and the superintendent and the administration team and all the staff pull it off. Now there's obviously gobs of details in there. So the board role is like a connection to the community. What is the passion and the culture that the community wants represented in the school? And maybe there are some things that there are choices, or which direction would we lean, and oftentimes that shows up not necessarily in the day-to-day operation, but it maybe be in the bigger things, like, are we going to do a building project? Are we going to create new vocational programs? Well, which ones? So it's like that. The board role is to represent the community. We certainly don't run the school.
Thank you. Question number 8. What do you see as the district's areas for growth? What solutions would you propose? Here?
I mean, the district's area for growth, you know, as Richard or Dick had stated previously, trying to get, you know, maybe seeing if you can get more open enrollment coming in and trying to increase the enrollment here. I mean, it doesn't seem, a lot of people I talk to go, oh, you're from Mediapolis, great school district. I mean, there's never been a bad outlook towards our school district. So I think that, you know, if you could continue on with that, I think that's a definite positive. It seems like, I mean, I don't know the full answer to this question. You know, I mean, I haven't really interfaced a lot about it, but I'd say that if we could just, you know, stay to task, it seems like we're doing quite well, and we could get more people in here, you know, and increase our numbers and keep it that small town feeling though.
Thank you. Dick?
Oh, just letting people know what Mediapolis has to offer. I think we have a tendency to feel good about the community we live in, but along with that, a hesitancy to talk about it. We don't like to be seen as braggy, and so we hold back on letting people on the outside know what goes on within this community and what we have to offer. And we have a great deal to offer. We've got strong achievement, we've got a good teaching staff, and I'm not just saying that. I've witnessed it over the past 8 years. It's there. We have an excellent admin team, administrative group that, and I've watched them and our faculty respond to the COVID-19 issue the past couple of years. And they worked hard, they've done a great job of it. They need to be recognized for that. And we just need to let people know what we have to offer.
Thank you. Question number 9. An individual school board member has no authority. Only the collective board can make decisions for the district. What skills or traits will you allow to contribute to effective operations of the board as a whole? John?
I like to think that the way we would operate as a board, and ideally any school board would, that it's consensus building, and it's almost like you don't need to take a vote. What I mean by that is that you talk about it enough that you understand all the perspectives, and ultimately, all things considered, just say like the four of us sitting here, but all things considered, it's like, well, I might have started here, and Mark and Peter and Dick, we all had these different starting points, but as we talked about it, it's like, I see, and the consensus is this is what we should do. So I guess I have that belief, and that's how I'd like to participate in it, and hope others do too. I've experienced that at work, and various civic roles or church roles, and even some family life things, you know, it's like, where are we going to have Thanksgiving? So I like to see us work on developing a consensus through discussion and fairness to everyone to speak their point of view and feel like they're making an impact.
Thank you, John. Mark?
Well, honestly, I'd really echo John in that reply too. I definitely agree there. And just that, you know, just allow for the members to allow for just open sharing. It's just it's a place where we can all come and share openly, have respect one for another, and just, you know, I think we can all recognize that individually and personally we maybe have some strong views, but when we come together in a consensus type, we have to work to hear and consider the other viewpoints as we look for a collective answer. And so really, I think that just kind of the respect and openness with each other is very important. So that's really all I have on that, because I really piggyback a lot on what John said.
Thank you, Mark. Question number 10. The school district currently provides a full-time school resource officer in schools through a contract with the Des Moines County Sheriff's Office. The school resource officer is present for school safety, to build relationships with student and staff, and to assist the teachers and administration with achieving their educational goals. Would you continue to support the school resource officer program in the future? And what are other opportunities for the SRO? Dick?
I just wrote dignity and respect. Our resource officers that I have known have done an excellent job, and our county sheriff's department is to be complimented for showing dignity and respect with our students, our teachers, any citizen that goes up and down the street out here. And I want to just pinpoint our students. When our students experience that, being treated that way, and see that, it gives them K through 12 a first time opportunity, a very important opportunity to learn about treating others with dignity and respect. And they learn to do that themselves with each other. Hopefully we'll go into the world to do that. And we're going to treat peace officers who may stop them for speeding with respect, and hopefully be treated with respect. So I don't think that really directly answers your question, but there's so much about a school resource officer that we don't realize or stop to think about the value they have. They're a one person walking, patrolling, teaching person. And I'm glad we have them.
Thank you. Peter?
Can you restate the question?
The school district currently provides a full-time school resource officer in the schools through a contract with the Des Moines County Sheriff's Office. The school resource officer is present for school safety, to build relationships with student and staff, and to assist the teachers and administration with achieving their educational goals. Would you continue to support the school resource officer program, and what are other opportunities for the SRO?
So I'm old enough that I don't remember it. There wasn't a student, or there wasn't a resource officer when I was in high school. So I don't really, I'm not saying that's a good thing or bad thing. I support it. I don't see it as any sort of bad thing. It's kind of like Dick had said, it gives them, if when they show respect to the children, then the children show respect to them. It shows that they're all part of that same community, and that there isn't really a differentiation between them, as long as they still have that respect for each other. And as far as I know, the officers that are up here have always been well, and they've always mannered well. If there was any sort of issue, I would definitely speak up against that. But I would support it right now as it is. I think that the one that's up here must be doing a good job, because I haven't heard anything bad about the guy, or girl. I don't even know who it is. So that tells you that's good. I mean, that's a good sign. So, because no news is good news. So I think I would definitely continue in support of the SRO and what he does.
Thank you. Congratulations, you made it through all 10. Now we're going to move to closing statements. Each candidate now has the opportunity to make a 60-second closing statement. John?
Hold on, sorry.
1 moment.
Okay, now we're ready.
John, we'll start with you.
All right, well, first of all, thanks for having us today. It makes all this information available to our community. I guess I feel that I could say in closing that, that having served a couple of terms and making myself available for a third term really kind of is a summation of where I stand. I'm willing to step forward and serve our community in this way, because I feel like I kind of represent a pretty broad group of collective point of view of our community. 4 children through the school, relationships with teachers, folks that I know. And so I feel like I could do the job, and it's basically, hey community, I'm here, I'm willing to do something like this again. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Dick?
Well, thank you from myself too. I just have the desire to have the opportunity to use what I've learned, because it's a pretty steep learning curve when you first start. And I've had experience in education, having been a teacher, a counselor, and a high school principal. So I've sat on that side. I've sat on that side of these board meetings in another school district. And it's been fun to sit on this side and also to learn what this side faces. I'm real pleased with the type of board we have and have had the past 8 years that I've been here. I want to say something that may sound unusual, but I feel good about the three people that are on my left and my right that are running. So if I wasn't elected, I could be really at peace with that, I think. It just would bode well for the community if any of the four of us were elected.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark?
Thank you for conducting this forum this afternoon. And I just want to say, as a parent of children in school and also a citizen, I really do thank the school board for your efforts and your work thus far. I am thankful for the school board. And really, as I look to run here, I'm not running to, on some single issue or some platform or anything like that. In fact, I'm not even running to make a difference. Really, as I view the school board, and I'll be very honest, there's some concerning things you see happening at a national level. But as I view the school board, it's my desire really to maintain the positive work of this current school board, and to also mix with that then having connections with quite a number here in the community and parents to bear that in as well. So I feel that Mediapolis is blessed that there are very good candidates here for the school board.
Thank you, Mark. Peter?
Thank you for holding this. It's great meeting you guys. And, I'm in agreement with y'all. I enjoy working with others. I really do enjoy being part of a team and having that discussion with others. I enjoy communication. I really would like to help, open up more doors of communication in all areas, and to basically to support, the parental rights and personal freedoms of our children and our parents, to open up more doors of communication if we can, with all parents of every, even the older generation, because they still are affecting these children here at our school, and I'd like them to have their word. But I really do enjoy what the school board has done. I think they've done a great job, and I'm kind of in agreement here. I think we all are, that we just want to keep the path.
Thank you.
Again, thank you guys, and thank you for people who show up to hear this, and wish there were more people. But 60 seconds, I thought I had fair communication skills. But to do something in 60 seconds, I've got a long way to go.
Well, I want to thank the candidates for their interest in serving the Mediapolis school by running for a seat on the school board. I want to thank the Greater Burlington Partnership and the Government Relations Committee and those in the audience here for your interest. Please vote for the candidates of your choice on November 2nd.